Amid the hustle and bustle of Incheon International Airport, which was already crowded by fans and media in anticipation of Jungkook and Jimin's departure for the United States, an unexpected sight tore through the morning's calm. BTS's Seok-jin, or Jin, appeared in the crowd. Not for the flight, not for the official schedule. He came only for one thing: to say goodbye in person to his two beloved sisters. This moment not only shook the airport, but also destroyed the emotional defenses of millions of armies around the world. An announcement. No official notice from HYB. The appearance of the genie was a very personal surprise, almost like a secret that only those who saw it firsthand understood. In an oversized black jacket, baggy pants, and a black mask that covers half of his face, Jin stands quietly between camera flashes. But it is not her appearance that is in the spotlight. It is the expression of her foggy, meaningful, and deep eyes. As Jin walked closer to the departure terminal, his steps were steady but cautious. He didn't say a word, just touched Jimin's arm gently, then looked at Jungkook with a look that seemed to say more than 1,000 sentences. The camera captured that rare moment. Jin looked at the two, hugging them one by one. Not a formal quick hug like idols usually do when saying goodbye, but a tight and long hug, like letting go of someone who is going to be very far away for an uncertain time. Pent-up cries and quivering gestures of silenced Jimin, who had been known to be expressive and cheerful, seemed unable to hide his surprise. He lowered his head, rubbed his eyes quickly, then forced a smile. Jungkook, on the other hand, looks frozen. There was a flash of emotion on his normally calm face. None of them spoke, and in that silence, something big was going on. The fans present, mostly unaware of Jin's arrival, suddenly froze. The crying broke out from various angles, not because of sadness alone, but because they witnessed firsthand the form of sincere affection between the members that they had only been able to see from the screen and on social media. This news spread in a matter of minutes. The phrases "Jin comes to the airport," "Jin hugs Jungkook and Jimin," to "Army crying in Incheon" instantly became a global trend. Many did not expect that Jin, who had just returned from Japan and was busy with preparations for the promotion of his second solo album, still took the time to come just to say goodbye. Is this just a goodbye? Or is there something deeper? Speculation began to emerge. Why did the genie come quietly? Is this a signal that he is preparing for something big? Or is it because he feels that this moment of separation is too important to miss, given their long history and relationship as part of BTS? An airport staffer, who did not want to be named, said he saw Jin arriving by private car about 30 minutes before Jungkook and Jimin's departure. He was not accompanied by a manager or HYB staff, only a driver and one person from the personal security team. He looked serious, very calm. Not as usual, but his eyes were full of water. Even before meeting them, he said. Some fans even associated this moment with the mood of Jimin a few days earlier, who in the live broadcast was silent for a long time when discussing his departure. Did Jimin have implied that there would be a heavy breakup? And was it the genie who made the moment so emotional? They are family. The genie, without a word, confirms everything it is common knowledge that BTS is not just a music group. They are a family that holds each other in the midst of the violent and merciless storm of the entertainment industry. Jin, as the oldest member, often takes on the role of a real big brother. He is known not to talk much about his emotions in public, but when he does something like this, coming quietly just to hug and let go of his younger siblings, the world knows that it is the ultimate expression of affection from a Seok-jin. After the breakup, Jin did not wait long. He walked away, not looking back, but in his heavy, steady pace, fans could sense how hard he was hiding his emotional turmoil. The camera captured the moment when Jin got back in his car, still with a calm face but slightly reddened eyes. Netizens' reaction. We feel like watching a scene from a movie. It didn't take long. Armies from various parts of the world began flooding social media platforms with outpourings of hearts. It wasn't just a breakup, it was a reminder that their love is real, wrote a fan from Brazil. The moment Jin came quietly, hugged them, then left without saying a word, was the most touching thing I have ever witnessed. Another commented from Japan. Some entertainment editors even called this event a gesture of humanity amid the onslaught of an industry that overproduces emotions. Without an official schedule, without major publications, Jin came only as an older brother who wanted to take his younger siblings. The question that cannot be answered: what did Jin feel at that time? Many are wondering, what does Jin really feel when he comes to the airport? Did he feel empty because he did not participate in that important journey? Or is he grappling with personal emotions that can only be understood by those who have lived the life of a BTS member? There is not a single official statement from Jin nor HYB. But perhaps it is precisely in that silence we can hear the loudest. The genie is not talking to the camera, but to people who understand that actions are more powerful than words. Global impact. ARMY answers with tears and prayers. It didn't take long for BTS's global fanbase to unite voices in various forms of expression of love. Tribute videos, cover songs, digital poems, and open messages began to appear on various platforms. An open letter to Jin was signed by more than 500,000 fans within 24 hours, expressing gratitude and hope that his sacrifice was not in vain. What happened next? It is unclear whether Jin will follow them to the United States for further activities, or if his visit to the airport is just a personal visit. But one thing is certain: the world will not forget that moment. Jin might just come to hug and let go of the two sisters he loves. But for ARMY, it was more than enough to make them cry, reflect, and feel that the love they had instilled over the years had never been in vain. Finally, it's not about who departs, but who comes to take off in an entertainment world full of stage and spotlight. BTS's Jin reminds us that sometimes the simplest actions are the most meaningful. Coming without a spotlight, hugging without a word, and leaving without drama. Those are all the purest forms of affection. Maybe one day we'll see Jin, Jungkook, and Jimin standing together on stage, staring at each other, and know that even though distance once separated, their love never went away. Until then, we will continue to remember the moment that morning in Incheon, when a brother came, hugged, and left with tears that were invisible, but felt in every heart that witnessed it. A farewell that was never said, but felt Jin didn't just come to take off. He came to give a wordless message that fraternity, in its written form, does not need a microphone or a grand stage. One hug, one deep look, is enough to melt 1,000 hearts in an instant. In the midst of Incheon's piercing morning temperatures, Jin's embrace felt the warmest. The staff around didn't even seem to interfere. Some of them looked down, making room in silence for that rare moment. No protocol interrupts, as if everyone knows this is not the time for logistics. It's time for humans. A few minutes after Jin left, the atmosphere of the airport changed drastically. A strange energy filled the air, like silence after a storm. Jimin was seen standing pensive for a few seconds before he continued his steps into the immigration room. Jungkook, on the other hand, stared at the airport exit for a few moments, as if hoping that his Hyung was still standing behind it. Jin's sincerity is undeniable. What Jin did was not just an ordinary gesture. In a Korean culture that highly values senior-junior relationships, Jin's actions show that their relationship is not just professional. It shouldn't come, but it's coming. He should not cry, but her tears were visible from behind the mask. And it should not hug, but his arms are full of history that cannot be forgotten. That's why the ARMY is crying. Not because they saw his idol fly, but because they witness a real love, which can only be born from years of shared experience as brothers, not just colleagues. This moment will live forever in the memory of Armyjin's every move that morning was captured not only by cameras, but by the feelings of millions of people. He has proven that even though he doesn't talk much in public, his emotions are real and deep. It's not about viral, it's about the heart. Jin revived the essence of BTS, which from the beginning was known as a group built by love, struggle, and sacrifice.